to you. Whether it is a man, whether it is money, whatever. And I call this the ABF principle. I say always be flirting. As the sister said, you know, she's married, she's flirting with her husband. Yes, that works. I didn't do that. That's why I got a divorce. So let me just tell you guys a little bit about myself, a little bit about the young lady that you saw in the video. That was me a few years ago when I was hosting a show called Abiola and LSD, Love, Sex, and Dating. Now, at that time, I had my outer flirting game down, right? I was real cute, had a little more junk in my trunk. I was really cute, had the outer game going, but not the inner flirting game. And that's what I'm gonna give you today, a combination of the inner game and the outer game. And this is how this workshop was born. I'm gonna give you 3 inner flirt tips and 3 outer game flirt tips. This workshop was born because last year, Essence brought in a whole bunch of handsome bachelors to this very space. And the women came up to the bachelors and didn't know what to say, and afterward contacted one of my editors at Essence and said, how can I get in touch with that guy? And she was like, you mean the guy you just left in New Orleans when you were in his face and he was gorgeous and you did nothing? And it was because they didn't know what to do. And as I look around at all of you gorgeous women, beautiful women, who maybe don't know your power, that it is all about knowing who you are. You see, love and flirting is a self-love game, okay? My new book is called The Sacred Bombshell Handbook of Self-Love, because flirting and any kind of love comes from how you feel about yourself. So we're gonna start with a little roll call, because I'm a girl from New York, I'm Caribbean American, I'm the first person in my family born in America. That's all very loud people, loud interactive people. I'm African American, Caribbean American, New Yorker. So you can't just sit here, come to watch, and think you're gonna just not participate, okay? People will be called up to the stage to practice the magnetic attraction walk that we saw in the video, just a warning ahead of time. People will be called on in class. And so right now, I just want everybody to just stand up. Let's just see who's in the room. Stand up. And you ladies are beautiful. For the opportunity to stand up, you should stand. Head held high. Here I am. Stand up. Own it. Yes. Okay. So let's just do a roll call, see who's in the room. So have a seat, my beautiful, bodacious bombshells. If you have ever used the line, men don't like women like me. If you've ever used the line, men don't like women like me, have a seat, please. Have a seat. Have a seat. Okay. My gorgeous lovelies, have a seat. If you have ever said, all men are dogs, they're jerks, men ain't itch, have a seat. Some of y'all are lying. Have a seat if you have said that. Okay. We still have some sisters standing. All right. Have a seat. My bodacious bombshells. If you have ever been in the supermarket or at the Home Depot and seen somebody really handsome and said, oh man, this is not how I want him to see me. I wish I could go home and get dressed and come back. This is not how I really look. Man. All right. We still got a few sisters standing. Have a seat. If you have ever said, well, men don't like women my skin color, men don't like women with my hair is too straight, it's too curly, I'm too short, I'm too tall, I'm too light, I'm too dark, I'm too successful, I'm too powerful, I'm too independent. Have a seat if you have ever said that. All right, we still have a couple of sisters standing, a couple of sacred bombshells still holding on. Have a seat if you have ever said, well, I don't need a man anyway. I don't need them because I make the money, I have the degrees, I have the education. So what do I need them for? Have a seat if you said, you know, I'm gonna just take this single time for myself. And it's stretched into 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And that celibacy that was once a choice has become your lifestyle.
No, it wasn't that long. It wasn't that long.
All right, so we have 5 sisters, 5 sisters left standing in this room full of queens. Give them a round of applause. Okay, have a seat, ladies. Okay, so clearly we have our work cut out for us, so let us begin. So our inner flirt game, remember I said I'm going to give you 3 inner flirt tips, 3 outer flirt tips, and then 1 bombshell confidential thing that is so scandalous that my editors from Essence who are here, we're going to pretend that I didn't even say it because I don't want to get fired. So after I tell you, just if they come up to you and say, did she say what I thought she said? Deny it because I'll get in trouble, okay? All right, here we go. So inner flirt tip number 1, we have already started on. It is your belief system, ladies. Write it down. Or as I like to call it, your BS. All of the things that we just listed, that is your belief system. And so I know you want the easy flirt tips. Abiola, what should I say? What should I do? None of that will matter if you believe that you are less than. Here's what I had to get divorced to learn. If you put a man up on a pedestal, the only way he can see you is to look down on you. Did y'all hear that? If you put a man up on a pedestal, the only way he can see you is to look down on you. And the second thing is, the only man you can change is one wearing diapers. So don't get into the relationship thinking, he's got potential. I'm gonna change him into this, I'm gonna change him into that. Feminine energy, ladies, we either accept him or reject him. That is your prerogative, but it is not your job to change him. It's not your job to alter him. It's not your job to say, I don't need him. There's a difference between independence and interdependence. And if you're in a relationship with someone, of course you need him. Of course you do. The men say to me, but they don't need me. The women don't need me, and they want to be needed. But need to us feels like vulnerability. It feels like a broken heart. It feels like rejection. And so we don't want to go there, but you have to risk in order to gain. Okay, so that's inner game tip number 1. Outer game tip number 1 is our body language. Okay, so here are some of the concrete things that you can do. Next time, for the ladies who are over here, when you're in Home Depot and you see that guy and you think, oh, in the supermarket or at the bus stop or in the next car, oh man, if I could go home and get my hair done and come back, I look real good. He might like me then. Don't ever leave your house looking less than your sacred bombshell self. Now, that doesn't mean you gotta leave the house all glammed up. That could be a t-shirt and jeans, whatever it means to you. But leave the house at any minute expecting a miracle, because you are a magical and majestic creature who is attracting to you everything that you desire. So leave your house physically representing that. The second thing is eye contact. It's so basic. Like, this is simple stuff, and I know that you know it. But eye contact and a smile. When you meet a man, see this guy over there smiling and nodding? Eye contact and a smile will go a long way. That, okay, I'm about to tell our business here, but it's just us, so I can talk. That Black women, as beautiful and powerful as we are some of the most guarded women on the planet. And I see you with your gorgeous selves in the streets of New York, in the streets of New Orleans, in the streets of LA and Chicago, with your mask on, with that perfect face, and just, looking like, don't talk to me today. Nobody better mess with me today. Well, how attractive do you think that is?
All right.
If you are, say, hiring somebody for a job, just like you are hoping to hire somebody to be your mate, how attractive do you think it is that a man has to come and penetrate, pun intended, that mask, that armor that you're carrying? So lay it down by the riverside like they told us. Lay it down, that sword and that shield. And again, feminine energy is vulnerable. It's open, it's smiling. And I know, ladies, I live in New York. It's not easy. You're walking around, people are, they're like telling you smile, this, that, and the other, all kinds of, and we don't want to be bothered, but it's not about them. That's the thing. That's where we get it twisted. We think, okay, I have to protect myself. No, you're already protected. Remember, that was inner game number one. You're already protected. So walk out there. If you're attracted to somebody, look at them. Give them eye contact and smile. So we're going to do a demonstration because science shows that it takes 5 full seconds for a man to register your smile. It takes him 5 seconds to go, oh, she looking at me. Oh, she looking at me. It takes 5 seconds, and 5 seconds is a long time. So right now, you're going to look at your partner, look at the person who's sitting next to you, and you're going to smile and have eye contact with them for 5 seconds. And I'm going to count it down. Come on, ladies, you scared to look at each other? I didn't say give her a crooked eye. I said we're going to smile for 5 seconds. Okay, ready? All right. 1 second, second. 2 second, second. 3 second, second. 4 second, second. 5 second, second. 6 second, second. That is how long you hold that smile when you see your Mr. Right. Can you hear me? Excuse me? All right, you smiled and you flirted with each other, but we got to bring it back up here because I got stuff to give you and time is short. All right, so you're going to look at each other. You're going to hold that smile for 6 seconds. Science says 5 seconds. I say 6 seconds because we'll want to cheat and look away. The other thing with body language is the colors that you're wearing. I see this beautiful woman back here. Stand up, miss. In the red. What she is wearing is gorgeous and attractive. Give her a round of applause. That science also shows that men respond to the color red. That the things that they are attracted to are different than what we are attracted to. I like jangly things. I like loud clothing. That's all confusing for them. They like simplicity. She has on a simple body-hugging, curvilicious dress. That is bodacious. Get a dress like that, and seriously, you will have to beat them off of you with a stick. The other thing is that when you meet a man and you're flirting with him, it's okay to have physical contact, to touch him as you talk. Again, you want to be vulnerable, you want to be open, you want to be feminine. So it's okay to, put a hand on him, flirt with him. It doesn't mean that you're thirsty or desperate. Let's talk about thirsty for a second. A friend of mine said this, and I'm going to quote him, that the fear of being thirsty keeps a lot of people single. Did y'all hear what I just said? The fear of being thirsty keeps a lot of people single. And it goes back to what we were talking about with that need thing, right? Like, who wants to be needy? We don't want to be needy, but again, remember, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So you have a crown on your head. You could never, ever be less than. So it is okay for you to flirt with someone. If they flirt back, great. If not, his loss. Move on. Flirting. Here's the definition of flirting. Flirting simply means enjoying your own magnificence in the presence of another. Okay? That's what flirting means. It doesn't mean that you're trying to get him, trying to get with him, trying to get his attention. You're just enjoying your fabulous self. Like, oh, look at all this. Oh, yes. All this chocolate. You get to look at and enjoy this. Look at you. Lucky you. That's what flirting is. So when you think about it that way, rather than think about, I've got to get his attention, when you go out on a date, that's something totally different. And remember that dating is just collecting data. It's just a date. Don't sit there the whole time trying to put your name together with his name and figure out how a ring is going to look. And does he like me? Is he going to like me? Who cares? Do you like him?
Hello.
Do you like him? That should be your first question. Is he attractive to you? And that's why we started out with working on this. Because you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And so if you have a list of all kinds of things, if you're saying, I want a man that's physically fit and financially empowered and has all these things going on, and you are none of that, it's not going to work. You got to be a Michelle to get a Barack. Can I get an amen? So you want to work on you, always. So the second inner flirting game is connectivity, okay? And I alluded to that when I said, to think about your source. And that's where that walk came from. from in the video that we saw, the magnetic attraction walk, that it's about remembering at all times that you are connected to something greater, okay? And when you have that, it shines through in who you are. And so I'd like somebody to come up. We're gonna work on that walk. Can I have a volunteer to work on the walk? I don't wanna have to pick somebody out. Okay, come on up. Give her a round of applause. And she's gorgeous, beautiful already. So with the magnetic attraction walk, when I talk about, what's your name? Diamond? Okay, give it up for Diamond. So in the video that we saw, again, like I said, that I had the outer flirting game down, but not the inner flirting game, right? And so, Diamond, just give us a walk across the stage. Yes. We love it, right? Yes. Yes. She's giving Naomi a run for it.
Come on, Diamond.
And see, what Diamond just did is exactly in line with what I did in the video. Now, it's not that you feel like, okay, if I'm gonna put on all of that, I am trying too hard, right? Who's afraid of trying too hard? Tell the truth. Again, it's not about trying too hard, it's about enjoying your magnificence. Didn't she look like she was having fun sashaying around the stage? I'll tell you, you can stop traffic, literally. And so if you are in the Home Depot or the supermarket and you see Idris Elba and you think, oh man, my hair's in rollers or whatever, and you walk like Miss Diamond did, go ahead Diamond, give it to us. Idris is like this. He's not thinking, well, what happened to her hair or the rollers or anything like that. And that is about connectivity, that when you are remembering that you are attached to something greater, and it's like, imagine like, remember back in the days that they told us like in, etiquette and that kind of thing, walking with a book on your head type of thing. Well, we're walking attached to our source. So when you're attached up here and the hips are swinging and you're working it out, that is powerful. Thank you, Diamond. That is powerful. Science shows that your waist to hip ratio, ladies, I love the sociology and science of attraction because it makes sense. The waist to hip ratio, what we saw with that lady back there in the red dress, is everything. That, this is not, voodoo that we're making up. We're in New Orleans, and I can tell you that, we cycle every 28 days in line with the moon. We are magical. There's some Conjure Woman stuff happening. And so that waist to hip ratio, you accentuate that when you're walking and you're swaying and you're enjoying those hips and enjoying who you are. Got that one? Yes? Good. Okay. So outer game tip. Well, that was actually outer game tip number 2. Inner game number 3. Focus on the other person. Has anyone ever been listened to so intently by another person that you felt like they really get me? Yes, raise your hand if you've had that experience. It is something really powerful to really listen to someone. And I want you to add that to your flirting and your dating arsenal. Because when you listen to a man, like he is the only person speaking on earth, he is going to feel a transformative experience with you. He is going to feel like this woman has just given me a feeling and attention that I haven't felt anywhere else. And so I want you to think of listening as something active that you use when you're talking to him and he's talking to you and you're sharing what it is. And some of us, you haven't been out on a date so long, you get there in front of him and you want to just tell him everything. And then I turned 5, and then my daddy did this, and then I went to 3rd grade. That's all well and good, but you want to listen to the other person. That, as simple as it sounds, that, like I said, it is transformative. He will look at you and be like, wow, okay. He'll be like, my God, I had the best conversation ever, and you probably didn't even say anything. It was him talking about himself. There's a saying, talk to a person about themselves and they will listen to you forever. Yes, talk to him, and again, because you're wanting to know whether you like him, anybody talks long enough, they're going to show you who they are, rather than us trying to make them into who we want to be. Close your beautiful mouth and just listen. listen and let the person tell you who they are, and then you can determine if this is someone that you want to move forward with to the second date, the third date, etc. Okay, got it? Okay, all right, so outer game tip number 3, receptivity. The power of receiving. Receiving is feminine energy. So many of us have problems with receiving, and you don't believe me when I say it. But, you know, we have problems with basically receiving a compliment. How many of us, somebody's ever said, wow, I like your dress. Oh, this thing is dirty. You know, your hair looks good. Oh, I need to brush it. Or, you know, we come up with self-deprecating ways to rip ourselves down. Because, again, we have problems with receiving. If you can't receive a basic compliment, you can't receive love. If you can't receive a basic, someone looking at you and smiling at you without thinking, what are they looking at? What do they want from me? You know, again, you want to let that armor down. That I wrote a whole chapter in the book about receptivity. My sister-in-law is pregnant right now, and in New York we take the subway, and you know, she's big out there, and people were offering her seats, and she wouldn't take the seat because she felt uncomfortable with receiving. We feel like it's a social contract we don't want to enter into. That in your relationships, if you cannot receive, your man is going to feel unneeded or useless. It's not a good feeling. Have you ever been in a friendship with someone where it felt like there wasn't an even exchange, where it was a one-sided thing, and they had, you know, issues? That's what you're going to be projecting if you cannot receive. All right, so I gave you 3 inner game tips, 3 outer game tips. Anybody want to hear the bombshell confidential?
Yes.
Okay, so here is a bombshell confidential that we're going to deny if anybody asks us about it, but it's good that we know it because you need this. All right, listen closely. As I talked about earlier, the conjure woman power that we have as women, when you look at a man or woman, whoever you're into, and you think about your secret garden, there is a power that comes over you with the way that you are presenting yourself. There's a look that comes in your eye that says, I know something you don't know. And so I want you to try that. You know, as you go forward into the festival and you encounter men, not anybody else's man, because we don't want to get into fights and that kind of thing. And, you know, there's power in having your own, not anybody else's man, but you want to practice flirting. I want you to look at the man, and as you're talking to him, and as he's talking to you, and you're listening, just think, let's try it right now for a second. Everybody think about their inner garden. Yeah, look how flirty everyone became. People are giggling. People got smiles over their faces. The energy became lighter. Yes. So that is a bombshell confidential tip. That as you're talking about him, think about your innermost secret heart and the power that you have and the grace and the glory that you carry with you. And any man or woman, again, whatever you're into, who is lucky enough to capture the hearts of any of the beautiful women that I see before me in this room is lucky indeed. And so when you leave here today, okay, I have an assignment for you. You're going to leave here, and everybody, as you're walking out, I want you to be walking out with your magnetic attraction walk, okay? Magnetic attraction walk. And even when you're home by yourself, sashay across the living room, sashay across the grocery store, okay? And then I want you to also practice your smiling, practice your eye contact, practice giving and receiving compliments. Get yourself a red dress like the lady back there. Stand up one more time so they can see it. Get yourself a red dress like that. Turn around. Give us a twirl. Yes. Yes. Get yourself a dress like that. And then work on that belief system, ladies. The BS that keeps you small, that keeps you thinking that something is wrong with you, that you have to do something, change something exterior with yourself in order to be acceptable. Because you are beautiful and perfect just as you are. just as you are. Okay? And I wish I could give you more, but we are out of time. So give yourselves a round of applause.